Everyone, welcome to this, whatever. I'd like to open the meeting of the Public Works Committee, please. On the previous minutes, may I have a motion unless there's some corrections?
Motion.
Motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. As I understand, number one is that resolution number 299, dedicating County Route 303, Beaver Dam Road. Is that, are we moving that tonight, or?
I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, it's a sponsor's not here. We can table it to request.
Okay, so we'll table it. The sponsor is not here tonight,
Half
so.
mine, half Travis.
We're gonna try to group together.
I don't need a motion on that, do I? Authorizing a supplemental agreement with Barton and Judas DPC regarding design services pertaining to the CR9 Brendan Hollow Road Fox Creek Bridge Rehabilitation Project in the town of Bern. Mr. Commissioner, how are you?
Fine, and you, Mr. Chairman?
I am doing okay, thank you.
Thank you. We're actually asking for the supplemental for an additional $19,054 for Barton and LaJudas for this project. And all it is there's a slight failure above the bridge abutment that this will actually absorb that and also relocate Dutch settlement in that absorbance.
Okay, any questions from the committee? If there are none, may I have a motion? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Number three, authorize a supplementary agreement, number one, with the New York State Department of Transportation regarding CR 55 Greenville Road over the Walman Hill Bridge Rehabilitation Project in the town of Bethlehem.
It's the same thing, it's on Kriebel Road, right next to 9W down there, and it's our slip lining project that went from a slip lining project to a concrete line project, and it's just a supplemental between us and the state for right now. And that's 80% we'll get on this back from the project.
Commissioner, what do you mean slip line? What's that?
I was gonna ask.
Slip line, what there was, the original scope was to actually, there's three 12-foot galvanized or aluminum pipes in there, and we were going to actually pull a sleeve or a plastic sleeve through it. That would be the slip lining, and they're about 120 feet long, and we can't do that, and so now they're going to do a concrete line. So,
Does that require excavation, or
No.
it can still be slipped through?
correct. We actually would get in there, there's a machine that actually will spray the concrete as it goes through there, and actually, so we'll do a little extra on the bottom, then we'll do a spray coat all the way through it.
Very good. Any other questions from the committee? If not, may I have a motion? Have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Commissioner. Number four, authorizing the submission of a grant application to the Capital Region Economic Development Council regarding improvements to the Hudson Mohawk Bike Hike Trail.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just like it says, we would like to submit an application to get some funding to make some improvements and possibly increase the amenities along the Mohawk Hudson Bike Trail, which spans from basically North Albany. The section that we are somewhat responsible for is from North Albany through the river communities and up through the city of Cohoes.
Do we know how much that is?
No, we
No.
have no official cost estimates just yet. I have met with a few people. In fact, I had a meeting with City of Cohoes officials today to go over what some of their needs may be. This particular grant program would be through New York State Parks and Rec. The maximum amount we can apply for is $500,000, and there would be approximately a 50% match, which we would be able to meet utilizing in-kind services. My goal right now is really to just apply for the maximum. Should we get that funding, I mean, we certainly could do a lot of work out there. Certainly is the need, and we would have no issue meeting the in-kind service match requirement.
Okay. Ms. Jones.
So is the county paying for the maintenance in that section right now?
No, I don't.
So,
It's a good question, to be honest, legislator. So what's happened, and we brought Scott on board after the conversations because of the grant stuff, there's been some debate as to whose responsibility is what and whether or not the previous agreement with New York State Parks and Rec was still in place. It's become clear that the agreement with New York State Parks and Rec needs to continue as, I guess it was, as it formerly was. But Parks and Rec was very adamant that the state can provide significant resources, whether it be materials, assistance related to any sort of administrative work or engineering work that may be necessary for a given project, to complete the maintenance necessary on the trail. So they encouraged us very strongly to apply through the CFA for funding with the knowledge that there's been some, there's basically an increasing awareness that some projects are going to happen in the near future to kind of maintain the.
Can you back up a
rail
second?
trail.
Like, all along the Mohawk, that section of the trail was paid for by Parks and Rec? Was that the state that basically built that?
It's my understanding that the initial funding outlay for at least the section along the Hudson.
Well, sorry, so the last section got paid between the part that went through Colony, past the park there, then it starts to dip south to Cohoes, the section that wasn't paved, and starts to go underneath the railroads rather than over top of it.
In Cohoes?
Yeah, and then you come out of Cohoes, then you're on the streets.
Correct.
So are you talking about making the parts that go through the streets safer? Are you talking about cleaning the glass off the trail that goes through Cohoes? What are we talking about?
Yes and no. Yeah, part of the conversations we've had, especially with the city of Cohoes, is trying to address some of the safety concerns they have in that area with the the on-road portion of the trail.
Okay.
Definitely a hot button issue right now out there, and
Yeah.
my goal would be to assist in any way we can. It's just nice collaborative effort. That is in my proposal right now to try to address that. I think it would be very, very expensive.
Yes.
The trail, just for the record, we've kind of determined the entire trail is owned by New York State Parks and Rec. The county's responsibility.
Coming down through Cohoes to where?
That's
From Cohoes, Green Island,
Where it meets out.
Watervliet.
the county is
all the way to
responsible.
Albany.
The county is responsible from Albany to the border of Manans, the border of Watervliet.
The county currently owns.
Okay. Back to my original question.
I'm sorry for being late. Owns from
Thanks, George.
Manans all the way through Watervliet.
Okay.
The county currently owns that.
And, okay.
Okay. The county owns that
And
portion.
then the section from Manans over to Schenectady through Colony and all, that's owned by the state?
So, I just had a
It's in our
conversation.
yeah.
It's kind of, there's a portion owned by the state, right? And that's there's a section in Cohoes that is owned by the state. Then there's another little section right after that owned by the town of Colony. And then it picks up in Niskayuna and it shoots out through
So it's owned by
Schenectady.
Colony, okay.
There is a
But
little
where the
section
park
that-
is there,
They were trying to show me on the map, it's like part of a tunnel, right after some tunnel that's in Cohoes that goes
Yeah,
forward.
right.
It's not very big, it's a very
No.
small section, but that's owned by Colony. It's supposed to
it's
take
around the
care of
last
that.
part that just finally got paved a few years ago. It was gravel and, all right. So we've got the state, we've got Colony, we've got the county, we've got the state, we've got who owns down along the Hudson then?
That's
That's county.
Yeah, it's
That's county, and
So
then
from
hooking
the-
into the part, and where we change names from you're calling this the Hudson Mohawk Bike Hike Trail, and then it becomes the Helderberg Rail Trail down in Bethlehem, South
Well, the
Albany.
rail trail begins down on South Pearl Street.
it becomes
Oh,
a Corning
Oh,
Preserve,
rail,
and then it keeps going, and then to Scott's point, at that point it kind of connects. But we're only talking about basically the section of the trail that's up against the Hudson from Albany to Cohoes, and to the Director of Operations' point, only certain sections of it are the responsibility of the county.
So we would be working in collaboration, George, with the state on the section, because it seems like we've got both county and state.
So when I had my
Sorry,
conversation
Mr.
with,
Chairman.
when I had my conversation with the New York State Department of Parks, they highly encouraged us to apply for grants to help offset the cost that the county pays to do the upkeep of these. And so I mentioned this to Mr. Siegel, and we reached out to DPW to try to, put this all together.
Mr. Chairman, having ridden bikes through the Colony portion of,
Are you sure it's the colony portion? Or?
well, somehow I thought everything from the giant conduit going over the Thaddeus Kosciuszko Bridge
Right.
to the Niskayuna line and the station there, if I'm right, Patty, is owned by the town of Colony, and it is actually a pretty wide expanse. I guess the question I have is the 500,000 a county allocation, or is that, for example, if the town of Colony needed money to upgrade the maintenance of their portion of the town of Colony, or of the bike trail, or if Bethlehem needed it for its portion, is there other grant money available, or are we allocating the entire 500,000 to North Albany to the northern end of Cohoes?
This would be for the section of the trail that we are responsible for maintaining, and that's what we're applying for. It's whatever we'd be awarded if we're awarded it.
But I guess, once again, I've seen many grant tables.
Well, this
that
is
show-
CFA. The locality could apply for a CFA for the maintenance of those sections.
They could, so
Oh,
we're
sure.
not using 100% of the allocation for Albany County. That's what I'm
No, no,
trying to
no.
determine. If, sometimes when grant monies are available, you see a printout, Albany County,
No, Town of Colony
Orleans
could
County.
just as easily apply for the same amount
They can.
and you get awarded.
So we
Yeah, I
wouldn't
believe
be-
in that program, there's about $20 million statewide. The maximum award for any applicant, whether it's the county or the Town of Colony or Bethlehem, would be $500,000.
Do you know how big the entire pot is?
About 20 million.
Oh, 20
Oh, you
million.
mean for the entire CFA?
Yeah,
750 million this year.
okay. So you
The
feel
parks-
comfortable that if another municipality wanted to go after the same funds for the portion that they administer, we would not be precluding their ability to do so?
Correct.
Okay.
Scott, you said $500,000, 50% of it would be county, but you're saying that you think we could pay for that out of our in-kind contributions.
Correct.
$250,000 for that section?
Actually, it'd be $500,000. We can apply, the maximum funding award is $500,000, so
Yeah,
it would be
but-
the total project amount of $1 million. So we would have to come up with
We'd have to come up with
$500,000 in in-kind
$500,000
services.
for that section there.
I would think for that, the 5 miles that we're looking to
5 miles, okay, now we-
repave,
okay.
it's split up
It's a
into different
repavement?
sections that really need it. So there's there's a little bit less than 5 miles that we identified that really could use some repaving. There's roots coming up through the surface. There's a couple of culverts that have expanded under the ground that are now shooting up beyond the
Okay.
surface.
Right.
There's a lot of signage improvements we'd like to make. The security improvements alone, safety improvements in the corridor, in the Cohoes corridor, could be well beyond that.
So
I
if Carol
would-
does the work, then we're charging that toward our
Correct, yeah.
contribution, right?
Yeah, I would think
Like-
between the labor and the equipment that's needed, the materials and supplies would easily account for the 50% match on $500,000.
Yeah, well, I'm all for it, given, there's a lot that's happened in Bethlehem and in the southern part now. But I'd like to see it all connected, and I'd like to see the names, be the same so that people,
Right, and it's part of my proposal as well that I'm putting together is signage for municipal boundaries. So you wouldn't know if you're in Colony or if you're in Cohoes
if they own it,
Albany or
if they're
what have you.
maintaining it, or if the county's maintaining it. It's just like our other road systems.
Right.
Nobody knows who owns what and who's responsible for what. You got the state skipping streets and, while they're plowing, and it's back to the county or the town. Nobody knows who's responsible. I'd like to see, maybe we could avoid that with this.
That's
Might
the
be-
goal.
Might be nice.
That'd be
Okay,
my
thanks.
intention.
Do you know who provides, I'm sorry, Chairman. Do you know who provides security on the county-owned portions? Is it local municipal police, or what the story is?
Well, for emergencies, wherever 911 dispatch goes to. Could be anything from state police to the sheriff's office to, if you're in Manans, it could be Manans responding. Green Island, so it's all part of the 911 relay.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can I just ask a quick question? I've been reading a lot about the whole, I'm not sure where the trail goes in the holes, first of all, so might be a new point. Would this have an impact on the problem they have at the end of 787 with the deaths across there for walking? Does PF come in? Does this include any work to try and help that issue?
No.
No?
No.
No, okay. And I don't know really where the trail is, but I didn't know if there was some way of helping. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions from the committee or anybody else? Okay, may I have a motion? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Number 5, authorizing the acceptance of grant funding and an agreement with the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation and amending the 2016 Storm Water Coalition budget.
Yes, thank you.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Okay, this is about a grant award that we received with the Stormwater Coalition of Albany County. The names are listed on the cover letter. It's largely to do mapping related to storm system infrastructure. The grant award is $486,720,000. We have received notice from DEC that the contract is ready to go. We're just waiting for signature by the county executive's office. So this is requesting your authorization to sign it and to sign the budget lines as indicated in the RLA.
Okay, how much is this?
The total grant award is $648,960. Of that, $486,720 is actual cash. The remaining is $162,240, which is local match, and that will be provided by the coalition members.
Okay, any questions? Yes.
Of the 162 local match, what percentage of that is county?
Very low,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah, the mapping project is to map storm system infrastructure. So you talked about the county roads that are all over the place. They have storm system infrastructure associated with them, catch basins, manholes. So they help the members provide in terms of trucks and people going out to locate catch basins along with the mapping staff from the coalition. That's one part of the in-kind match. A portion of the grant involves developing forms to help inspect construction or stormwater practices. So typically the coalition works collaboratively, so one county staff person would help develop the forms.
Yeah, I know, I think generally your funding, you have a variety of municipalities
Yeah.
in the county, and they pay different percentages
Yep.
of your budget. And I was just wondering, does this follow then those percentages? If the county's percentage is 15%, let's say, would we
It's
have-
more work plan driven.
Okay.
When we applied for the grant, it was acknowledging that some municipalities don't have any mapping capacity, others have more, so we pretty much allocated the work based on what they needed. And essentially, it's to try to equalize the GIS capacity of all members of the coalition.
And it's anticipated this would be pretty much in kind match?
Yep. Well, it's in kind, but because, as you mentioned, municipalities chip in their membership dues, the in-kind service is largely my time and that of the second staff person for the coalition. So all of those dues together go to support us to keep the grant implementation plan going forward.
Okay, thanks.
Any questions?
Nice, Nancy.
Okay, great.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah, well, let me get to that. May I have a motion? Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. I guess that ends our agenda. May I have a motion for adjournment? Motion, second, all in favor, opposed, thank you.
Chris was here.